Bungie is about to lose 50% of its staff? Let's check it out. Oh boy.
I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, here to spread the cheer. Join me on this adventure, where gaming wipes away the tears.
Scholars, welcome back to the Counselor's Office. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor, and we are back with more big news, especially in gaming. Bungie is rumored to lose about 50% of its workforce, which isn't surprising, especially when we look at more details outside of just Bungie themselves. Let's jump into it, shall we? Let's get into it. So we have Bungie is reportedly set to lay off 50% of its workforce this summer, around 400 employees, following the end of Destiny 2's live service development. First off, let's talk about a couple of things. First off, we knew that there were going to be layoffs. There were multiple, employees, a lot of red alarms coming off even before the whole end of service was leaked and said, hey, this is going to happen. We knew that these layoffs were coming. We just didn't know how bad it was going to be. 50%, 400 employees, really, really bad. We know over half of those employees, total in Bungie are working on Marathon. Let's just get that clear, right? There's also interesting, we'll look at some tweets from the sources talking about even management in this case. Let's just listen before we jump in. This is not new. This is not unique. This is not unique. I know I had it somewhere else here, but we're gonna go ahead and just talk about it now. This situation is not unique to just Sony and Bungie, because we even have reports that Xbox studios, including Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory, Double Fine, these studios are in negotiations with Xbox to spin off as they try to avoid closure. These are there's a lot of information, a lot of closures, a lot of people being laid off. Ubisoft is doing layoffs. This is a industry-wide situation where we're seeing a lot of layoffs. So I just want to make it very clear that even though, yes, there is issues based on like Bungie's poor management and Sony and the, choosing to put all their ducks in one boat, which is the dying ship of Marathon. This is also not unique in the fact that everyone is seeing layoffs. However, I would say 50% of a studio that Sony spent $3.6 billion on is notable. That is significant. That isn't like, again, shutting down an entire studio, okay, but people didn't spend $3.6 billion on these other studios, at least not to what I know about these studios. This is significant. This is big. This is massive information. 50%, just so we're clear. And I said this before. This seems like they're going to leave the Marathon developers and get rid of all the Destiny developers. Anyone that worked on Destiny, your community managers, you've got, what else do we have part of the equation? The regular developers, anything in like, marketing, all those, everyone. It sounds like they might lose their job. While I do celebrate the idea of some of the worst developers, people who ruin Destiny, some of the narrative decisions, some of the gameplay decisions, some of the community managers, I do celebrate that finally we're getting rid of the trash. I still lament the fact that there are good developers that were fighting for us. And we know throughout the years, multiple leaks, multiple insiders coming out, former Bungie employees talking about how toxic the C-suite are, upper management, lower management, all these different systems, how toxic and how much they were part of the problem. It's not just Pete, by the way. It's not just Pete. We all love to blame Pete. Pete is definitely in a box. But again, I'm the kind of guy that will put other people in the same box because they participated in ruining the franchise, but also leading the company down the path that it is now. There was more than just Pete making decisions. There are multiple heads, multiple people that are about to jump ship just like Pete did with their golden parachute, and they will never see any consequences. Whereas you have whereas you have developers, and I'm going to name one, Noah. I've loved this guy after watching him showcase Into the Light, which was a fantastic, beautiful update. Beautiful update. He was a Chad. He's a gamer. He loves what he does, and I guarantee he's probably one of the dudes and developers out there, fighting for the community. And he may lose his job. He may lose his job. He might lose his job. My hope is that the best developers get absorbed into Sony, and that they can still their skills, their passion for gaming can be influenced. Because here's the deal: I celebrate bad developers losing their jobs. It's not our responsibility to put food on their table. It's not responsibility to see that a company is supported and continues to function. It's not our job as the consumer. I do not feel sorry for any store or studio that shuts down. I can be empathetic. The fact that good people are losing their jobs. I can be sad that people are losing jobs, especially good developers, because that does impact the gaming industry. When you have good developers get the boot and they just like, okay, well, this is not for me. I don't want to participate in making games, and the fact that I could lose my job, it's not worth it. I hate that, because then you get stuck with, the cheap labor. You get the cheap developers, the people that aren't experienced, that aren't gonna make the bangers, the classics. In this case, we've lost a lot of core veterans that made Destiny the way it was, and that is overall going to hurt the consumer. That's gonna hurt the consumer. That's gonna hurt us. But what's even worse is that we probably won't get a Destiny 3 because of this. So if we continue on, there was also rumors that you'll see layoffs at Bend, Media Molecule, and Haven, though this came from a tweet, by the way. This French journalist, apparently this is false information, that he never said specific, like outside of Bungie, he never specified any specific studios seeing closure or layoffs. Apparently this is a lot of misinformation, so always be careful what you see. Now, the only reason I would take for what this French journalist has said, Sylvian journalist, is because Paul Tassi kind of backs this as well. But let's see the original. This is where people got their information. And if that weren't enough, Bungie should expect mass layoffs this summer. I'm treading carefully, but I'm hearing the talk about at least 50% of the workforce. Again, this is something, take this with a grain of salt, because it's not confirmed. First off, this is a journalist. Secondly, they even say I'm hearing talk. That means they're hearing, they're a third party hearing from other people. We don't know for sure. Take for it a grain of salt. However, the idea of people losing their jobs, we already know this is confirmed by multiple sources. This seems to be true. The number of percentage, we don't know, but take it for a grain of salt. 50% of the workforce affected, permanent or contract staff, following the end of Destiny 2 and the situation with Marathon. It hits me particularly hard because Bungie is a studio close to my heart, and none of this should be happening if everything had been managed properly. It's very sad, and I'm thinking of the devs who poured their guts into their respective universes. And that is something that is true. Again, we know for a fact that people like upper management, even some lower management, that helped make some of these bad decisions that sent Destiny into a roller coaster, which was even before the Sony acquisition, by the way. People were like, oh, things really went downhill after they tried to sell themselves, trying to do multiple incubation projects to make themselves look good to Sony. This was happening before that. Destiny was on a downward trend before that even happened. The studio was not sustainable. They went on a hiring spree. They spent too much money on an entirely new studio. This is not something new. They were already making poor, financial decisions before they try to grease their palms and sell themselves off to Sony. Now, we have Paul Tassi reaffirming this situation. I don't want to commit to a percent, but it's going to be significant. They don't have a green light new project. Again, that is something to note. Sony has refused to greenlight any Destiny project, and they can hardly throw 400 more developers on Marathon. You will see some leadership and OGs leave in July, I believe, which is when Sony deal cash vests them, which we know this is true. This was a leak from about a year or two ago where they said that after Marathon shipped in the summer that leaders were going to jump ship, that they're trying to push it out to get their cash grab. And that's what seems like it's going to happen. In July, we're going to see probably layoffs. We're going to see a bunch of people jump ship. It's going to be a massacre. We have Michael. Sadly, so Bellular Games. Sadly, this makes sense. It'd be them laying off the Destiny 2 production team and likely any associate roles, support, ops, exec. Game industry economics are crashing around us. That's exactly what seems to be the thing. And it's a shame. It's really an absolute shame because we with the new update, we almost hit 2 million players in the past week. 100K whom are new, which is, by the way, significantly more than Marathon. There's more players playing Destiny 2 than Marathon, which just had a brand new season. Marathon was a bet that Bungie and Sony put their ducks on, and it seems to be a failure. And so there's, again, a lot of argument about the biggest reply I've seen so far online every time someone brings up Destiny right now. Well, if you wanted a Destiny 3, you should have paid for it. You should have bought more Destiny 2. And I'm like, you dumb mother effers, we already paid for it. We paid for that shit. The Destiny community paid for all of it. They probably paid for Destiny 3 twice. It's not our fault the money went elsewhere. It's not our fault it went to Marathon. It's not our fault the money went to other incubation projects, which, by the way, never came to fruition. And this is a big argument, this hoopla that you need to support Destiny. To get Destiny 3, you have to support Marathon. This is a lie. The facts are against it. Do not listen to any of these Marabots that try to gaslight you. You already paid for Destiny 3. I already paid for Destiny 3. Supporting we should never have gotten Marathon. We should have got Destiny 3. Anyone that is trying to gaslight you and emotionally manipulate you, you already deserved and earned, you already deserved and earned it. Let's see what Astrocross has to say on the matter.
I would like for you to tell me what justifies this too much.
Okay, this is way too low. So we're gonna boost this to the moon.
You tell me what.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I put them on the subwoofers.
In what areas does Destiny cost too much to make in comparison to Warframe, in comparison to a Marathon? You've seen the budget for Marathon. You know, the biggest reply I've seen so far online, every time someone brings up Destiny right now, is, well, if you wanted a Destiny 3, you should have paid for it. You should have bought more Destiny 2. And it's like, you dumb motherfucker. We already paid for it. We paid for that shit. The Destiny community paid for all of that shit. They probably paid for Destiny 3 twice. It's not our fault that the money went elsewhere. It's not our fault the money went to fucking Marathon. It's not our fault money went to other incubation projects, which, by the way, never came to fruition. Keep in mind, the agenda at Bungie 2020 internally was that they were going to have 4 games alongside Destiny by 2025. 2025, they had no other games. And the one game they got out was Marathon. That was in 2026. Now, what is the lesson to be learned from all of this? The lesson, in my opinion, is very simple. Build within your means, capitalize on what you're really good at, and continue to lean into that. That's what I get from this. The whole multi-IP studio thing, I get it, man. You're spreading out risk, right? That's the theory. You're spreading out risk. But in my opinion, it's also when there's statements internally that Destiny is not going to be the winning horse forever. I get that sentiment, but my question to that is, why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Especially when you have the results. When you have the results are in the pudding. Like you just look at the data. Popularity, 2 million players versus Marathon, which can barely crack 10K now. Like, let's see what is Marathon looking like. Let's look at the charts. Everyone loves charts. But we know 70% come from, yeah, look at this. You're gonna tell me you think this is gonna be sustainable? People are like, oh, well, if you support Marathon, you'll get Destiny 3. What kind of crack cocaine are you smoking? What are you smoking? What are you doing to lie to yourself? And here's the thing. This is the lie. This is the lie that people are telling themselves. That supporting Marathon equals Destiny 3. But we know if 50%, you see 50%, you actually see the Destiny team get fired. Who the is going to actually make a Destiny 3? You fire half your damn studio. Who the is gonna make Destiny 3? So you have all these Marabots, these absolutely intellectually dishonest people trying to gaslight, emotionally manipulate you, and try to straight up lie to you, try to try to convince you to buy a pile of shit in order to get gold, to get what you want. Now, we have a very, very perfect example of the weird nature of the Marabots. I reacted. I'm gonna pause real quick. I'm gonna pause the music real quick. We have we got a couple specimens. That's right, a rare couple specimens from the Marathon community, Marabots. You remember when the video I did a couple days ago where we talked about people trying to sell you the lie that Marathon, buying and supporting Marathon will give you Destiny 3? Well, I reacted to multiple people trying to gaslight people being upset that people aren't supporting Marathon. And just briefly, I had talked about one of our people. That's right. One of the Marabots, one of the typicals. We've got Angry Craig. I call him Angry Craig now because Angry Craig was on Twitter upset, saying Destiny fans should be more like From Software's, thank you, about talking about being supportive about Marathon. We can put the music back on. I'm just going to lower it. Talking about Marathon, which is funny because I talked about how this is not the same situation, which, by the way, Craig here, Angry Craig, agreed. There's no comparison though. Destiny and Marathon are both live service games, so both require a lot of work to even maintain. From Software has made single player games. This will be its first multiplayer. Technically, I don't think so. Didn't they make Night Rain? But here, yeah, maybe PvP. I don't know. And it isn't a live service. Technically, also Dark Souls have PvP in them too, so it's not like unique. It isn't a live service multiplayer, so it running isn't going to kill older games, which is true. Having extraction on Nintendo Switch is not going to kill, Bloodborne or Bloodborne 2, which apparently never going to happen. Dark Souls, Elden Ring, no, that's going to die off because, there's an extraction shooter specifically on Nintendo. Oh my God. Whereas Angry Craig says, my post was pretty dumb comparison. I get your point. He even agrees. But Angry Craig, apparently, we got two rare specimens. This guy, I don't even know his Gambino, which I'm blocked him, which tells me he's probably a low brain incel, especially the fact that he never came into my chat as well. I was live streaming when this happened, where Angry Craig came to my live stream. We were doing the Destiny 2 farewell. It was the end of the night. I was wrapping up stream and told everyone I was getting off at 11 o'clock. And right before I end stream, Angry Craig shows up. Angry Craig, a Marabot, upset. And I was like, I would have never known that he was talking about me on Twitter until he came into my chat. So let's see what led to it, and then we'll talk about it, right? We'll show. I've got the receipts. Not gaming counselor using the stream bait. You have a link to this nonsense, so there's my stream. Which, can we just sit here and talk about something real quick? Remember when I talked about Marabots, how they're unhinged, delusional, and there's something wrong with them? This guy, this big Like, Craig is a loser, but this is the most pathetic loser you will ever meet. This Gambino guy. How pathetic do you have to be that you're probably blocked in my channel for probably good reasons. You're an angry little guy. You spend your time hate watching me, my live stream. You're lurking in the channel, hate watching, and then you're ratting on Twitter because I make a mention about this tweet, which, by the way, apparently Craig didn't even know what it was, or because he never talks about the actual criticism I say about it, even though we've got him in 4K admitting that this was a dumb post, which is essentially what I said for the exact same reasons, that this is not the same situation. But Angry Craig, again, another loser, a Marabot, upset that even the idea that it was I reviewed this came into my chat. Let's look at it. Let's look at it together, chat. I have it. This rare specimen came all the way into my chat at the end of the stream. What's up, dude? Heard you're using my tweet for clout. And I'm like, I have no idea who you are, Rando Bongos. And I said that, and I'm trying to, listen, I'm going to tell you right now. I don't get immediately aggressive with anyone. Even if I don't like them, I don't immediately get aggressive unless you get aggressive with me or you're an asshole. I won't be an asshole to you. I'm against popular belief. I'm actually really nice even online. But I was tired. I was wrapping up, and Angry Craig came in upset that your boy would mention something about his comment, his tweet. And so we're talking clout. By the way, it's so funny. When we talk about clout, the only clout that angry Cool Runner Craig has is literally a floating shit. Like if it was an iceberg, it'd be a floating shit. That the wider gaming audience, even if people notice it, anytime I've seen him in like big YouTuber videos, it's usually people making fun of him and using him as an example of delusional Marabots. So I don't think anyone wants whatever clout you have, if you have any. You're more of like the ass of everyone's joke. He said, cool, Runner Craig. I'm like, okay. So I was about to wrap up. I'm being nice. I'm just ignoring it. I'm like, okay, hey, yeah, what's up? Or whatever I said. And then he's like, starts getting aggressive. Talk about it. Calls me a coward. At this point, your boy, I'm like, hey, listen, you're being aggressive. You're saying, hey, I'm stealing your clout, which is whatever. I'm trying to ignore you. I'm trying to be nice. My dude calls me a coward because I'm not immediately trying to, talk about a tweet that I briefly talked about, moved on. He came into my chat because some dude randomly told him that I covered this tweet. He has an emotional reaction. Gets on. By the way, how much of a loser do you have to be to get upset that someone talked about your tweet and then you go to their stream and immediately start trying to be aggressive, like to start some shit? You are a fucking loser. What a like low level human being you have to be. Like, bro, if you don't like someone, don't interact with them, which is the same thing with this other guy. Like, if you don't like someone, don't watch them, don't interact with them. Like, how much of a like ego do you have that someone barely mentions you and then you have to go and immediately start investigating? Like, holy, bro. But and even started talking, saying no one's in the chat except bots, even though my community, Firestone, and other people were talking in the chat. We're ending the stream, so people are leaving. It's late at night. But that wasn't it. I go off on him and like, you know what? You want it? I go off on him. And then he goes, don't worry, I got him. You didn't get me. I've got you. So he goes on Twitter. Yeah, again, this is how the Marabots are. They get angry. These are people that need constant validation. They get up. They have emotional issues. There's something wrong with them mentally. Like when we talk about escapees from the asylum, it's these people. So this is what I had to say. Let's look at what I had to say. That story time, the biggest loser in gaming. No, that's you. was whining about Marathon and putting my tweets on his stream. So I hopped in his chat and just me and a dozen bots. Ah, yes. Unfortunately, you were the only bot and he got very triggered. Yes, very triggered that you call. I was trying to be nice, not aggressive. You call me a coward. I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to be nice. You want to be aggressive? Fuck it. Let's go. I'll let you know, but we will be trying to play more games this Wednesday. We are going to be doing. So this is me addressing my chat. Warframe, which we did. Be fun and exciting. Is we're going to play some Warframe. We'll continue our farewell tour, saying goodbye, hooray, hooray. That's where I'm going to call it there. Talk about you, coward. Oh, okay, cool, Craig. It's no chat, just me and Bits. No, there's chat. People have been talking. Anyways, cool, Craig. I know you're upset. It's okay. It's okay. I know you're upset that Marathon has not been doing well. I also know that you're upset that you're a failed analyst who's trying to hype up, Marathon, but no one's going to buy a shitty game just for the hopes for Destiny 3. So stay on Twitter, get your clicks, your likes, and keep going because it's really fun. It's really great. Bots. No, you are the bot, Craig. You are the Marabot. So when we will make fun of you, we'll laugh at you. And especially as Marathon continues to die and go down the drain, we will continue to watch as you freak out, desperately trying to defend a game that no one wants. So with that, fuck Marathon. Fuck you, Craig. There's a reason why you're a failed former analyst. Have a good one. And enjoy as Destiny gets more attention. Yeah, I ended the stream. Enjoy as Destiny gets more attention. But yeah, exactly. See, you watched me literally try to wrap up the stream being nice, ignoring it, and then he amps up the aggressiveness. Listen, you think you got me? The only thing you do is you got cooked. And you're getting cooked now. In fact, the fact that you didn't even know what I talked about and you essentially agreed this guy, which is agreeing with the main sentiment of what I was critiquing about this. You got unhinged. You had an emotional reaction. You got upset about someone talking about your tweet. You went to their live stream, tried to be aggressive, like talk about it. And someone was trying to be nice and not be aggressive to you. And you're like, coward. And then you go to Twitter with a clip of the stream thinking that you did stuff, which, by the way, there's a lot of people that don't like me, which is very prototypical of these Marabots. But then there were people that were actually, actually agreeing with me. So you're botting people now. Yes, he is. He's joining up and being a bot. Damn, he kind of fucked you. I don't know why you posted this. Looks like he dumped on your chest. You posted 2 losers. Hey, you know what? At least they're admitting that he's a loser. Did he? Sounds like didn't overreact at all. No, I wasn't overreacting. He fried you, to be honest. He actually cooked you. So a lot of people agreeing. But hey, you got your 113 likes. Do you feel good about yourself, Craig? Do you feel good? Well, like how many how many likes did I get on my video about that? Let's see. Because like I said, Twitter likes don't mean shit. Oh my, I got 2,000, almost 3,000 views, 110 likes, which matters because I'm actually getting paid, unlike you. You're on Twitter being a loser. I get paid for making videos. That's the funny part. But just to wrap this up, again, just to show you that Marabots need constant validation. They have emotional reactions whenever you say anything about their game or you criticize them. They can't avoid. This is a perfect example of people not avoiding negativity. They rage bait themselves. They interact with the negativity. They constantly have to be in the middle of the drama or in the situation. They have their ego can't let it go. They always have to address everything. I do it for content. It's just funny to me. But you got people who aren't even being paid to make content who are actively always engaging with stuff. Oh, it's right there by Randos Bongos. Yeah, okay. But, oh, Craig, I've got a new nickname for you. I figured out what you reminded me of, and I got you. This is you, Craig.
Hi there.
This is Craig.
Who are you? I'm old Craig.
I'm old Craig.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What do you want?
He's green
Maybe
like
I should
Marathon.
ask you the same question.
Oh,
Gonna
I'm
come
old
to a club
Craig.
where people wee on each other.
No.
I'm gonna hurt you.
Excuse me.
You don't know what I got.
You know what I got?
Something to show you.
He's about to show you
You know
Marathon.
what that is? That's old Greg's vagina.
Anytime Craig wants to talk about Marathon, here's Marathon. Here's my vagina. I'm old Craig. There you go. That's a cool run of Craig. He's old Craig now. He's showing you his Marathon vagina. What a way to end the video, man. But yeah, never take these people seriously. Never, ever take the Marathon community serious, the Marabot serious. And just remember that when they tell you that supporting Marathon will lead to Destiny 3, they are lying. They have no factual evidence to support, whereas there's multiple pieces of content of like, hey, this is a flag that you're not going to get Destiny. Layoffs. Sony's not greenlighting projects for Destiny. Sony isn't even, and hasn't, with the big announcement of like the monument of triumphs, nothing from Sony. Crickets. No, nothing about Destiny is being mentioned from Sony because they're letting the ship die. Millions of years of evolution successfully carrying forward the gene pool and accumulates in a person being a corporate drone. Sad. Our ancestors used to defend the tribe from mammoths. Yeah. And unfortunately, common sense in gaming is dying. Luckily, the layoffs in gaming in general is both sad but a good thing. You know, I think it's a bad thing because you're losing experienced developers, and that hurts. That really hurts. But at the same time, we are seeing a course correction, and I think we're going to see less slop. You're going to see less marathons, which is a good thing. Games that no one asked for, we will see less of that. And I think that's fantastic, that we see less of crap that no one, absolutely no one asked for. So there is some course correction happening, and I think gaming will, overall, we're seeing more good games come out because of the course correction. I'm sad that we're also going to lose some veterans. We're going to lose experienced people in a wider gaming, community that have made some bangers. And that is always a bad thing for the gamers. There's good and bad for the gamers. The situation of losing experienced veterans that made games that we loved and cherish and have, those are the moments where you feel like, damn, you got to hope that the greenhorns that are coming in can make bangers. Not to say that the noobs, the greenhorns, the fresh developers, that they can't make bangers, that there's not people who have promising potential. It's just, that certain developers have always had that sauce, that magic touch. Now they might be losing their job. And that's something that I don't like. And we can agree is bad for even gamers everywhere. But Marathon ain't it. The fact that they betted on Marathon and didn't even try to make a Destiny 3, I think Sony is cooking Bungie. We see 50% layoffs at Bungie. I don't think we're going to see any improvements or any hope for Destiny 3. There's just too much going against the idea of us ever getting a Destiny 3, especially with that many layoffs. There's no shot that if there's 800 people at Bungie and you lose 400 of them, there's no shot they're going to be able to make something like a Destiny 3 or make it in the way that people want. I just don't see it being feasible. And the idea, the lie that these people will try to sell you is just, it's either emotional manipulation, depending on how they spin it, but it's definitely intellectual dishonesty. But anyways, one last time.
He's a scaly manfish. You don't know me. You don't know what I got.
You don't know what I got?
Something to show you. You know what that is? That's old Greg's vagina.
Oh, Craig. I hope Craig doesn't change just so we can have more content to talk about. Just, you know, I can't wait to see, you know, the future post where he's ranting and raving and continuing to show us what a Meribot, you know, looks like. Anyways, it's unfortunate that we're going to see people lose their jobs at Bungie, and I just want to end with that. A friend of mine lost his job after 12 years working on as a programmer, and it took him about 6 months to get a new job because people kept telling him he was overqualified. And that's a new thing. People don't want to pay for experience. People want cheap. And the whole thing about AI, you know, that's taking a play. I do think that there's good in some of these layoffs, but we're losing a lot of experience, and overall, I do feel like the gamers and themselves will suffer for that. Again, it's not your job responsibility to see that every studio succeeds or every game thrives. It's just like your local gas station shutting down because another gas station opens up and it provides a better service or better product than the other one. That's how consumerism works. Welcome to reality. You shouldn't feel like it's your fault. It's no one's fault other than the corporation itself, the leaders of the corporation and the people who helped to make the service and the product worse. That is what happens when you have incompetent leaders. But I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Hit the like button, enjoy the content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Stay gaming as always. Until next time, game out.